What is the complementary color to blue? It's orange right here. To create a shade of orange, you just need red and yellow, which a lot of times I just combine the two colors, very slightly, gently blend them on my palette, and then without overly mixing it, I would bring it here on the bottom just to give it that nice orange-like glow. Hi friends, welcome to this class. We're going to paint some blueberries today. I did this little color chart, just swatches basically, just to show you what cobalt blue hue looks like against the cobalt blue. So this is the cobalt blue, the pure cobalt blue on the bottom. And this is something was created to get as close as possible with a little different ingredients, right? On the right side here, this is where I added a little bit of red, so quinacridone red. We're not going to use that many colors in this painting. The top is highlighted, but then the bottom is shadowed. What would we do about the shadow, right? How would we darken it? So it's very easy, obviously, just to grab indigo or some other darker color, but I don't recommend that. Instead, I recommend going with a complementary color. Here's the blue. What is the complementary color to blue? It's orange right here. To create a shade of orange, you just need red and yellow, which a lot of times I just combine the two colors, very slightly, gently blend them like on my palette, and then without overly mixing it, and then bring it over here. I would bring it here on the bottom just to give it that nice orange-like glow. And then we start adding the blues. But I did another chart here, how to create natural shadows. You find the local color of your object. So for example, this pepper is red. And then you find what's complementary color to red, it's green. And then you add that green to the red to create a natural shadow for your object. Whether you have masking fluid or wax stick, let's add just a little bit here just because there's a nice highlight, and maybe just a little bit like gently going over the blueberry. So if you've never used a wax stick, it's just like a candle, but you have to remember, like, something like this does not come off the paper. It's permanent. This is ready to go, so I'm going to zoom in onto this blueberry. This will be our first one to paint. So the first thing you want to do is wet the blueberry. This is my long quill size 2 brush. I'm gonna wet it. Make sure you have clean water. So what does it tell me if I'm painting on a rough watercolor paper? I do have more texture overall. The paper will dry a little slower, which is good. I prefer actually cold pressed overall, but it's fun to paint on a rough watercolor paper too. The paint will spread more and you just basically see more texture. So there's just a lot of benefits to paint on a rough, but you will have way more control if you just paint on a traditional cold pressed with texture. Some of the cold pressed you see on the market, they are very smooth. It actually, I noticed it says something like not cold pressed or something like that. Well, that's true because the paper is so smooth. All right, so like I said, the first color combo. So like this is imidazolone yellow and some of the quinacridone red. There's our orange, but you're not trying to like blend it perfectly. That's the goal, to not blend it perfectly so the colors separate. And then you're just gonna go right here where we actually have that shadow. I want a little more of that blend. So you can tell it's yellow, red, right? Which creates an orange, but we can see the separation of colors and that's what we want. Use the pointy part of your brush to go closer toward these sketch lines, the sketch line. This way you have more control. And very slowly let that to spread. Now, do I see any of that anywhere else? I think I'm good. Maybe just press a little harder on the paper so I can release more paint. Cleaning my brush. And now I'm gonna grab that blue. So there's my cobalt blue here. Again, a little too much water. And then maybe some of the phthalo blue. And there's my quin red. So I'm gonna start really lightly, gently, and I'm gonna see how things are spreading. So go very slow. Watch how the paint spreads. As soon as you go here, this will darken. So just go very gently. Like you don't need to be in a hurry, just go slow. I'm gonna grab a little more of it. And actually, I touched the paper, or not paper, the towel, just because I feel like I had too much. And you do want this to be like a water-like ratio, because you actually, first of all, you want the paint at first to spread, and you're looking for a light value. You don't need this to be dark. This area is highlighted. So just very gently, like press, I mean not press, but like touch some areas. See how the paint is spreading. Because you don't want to just like with one brush stroke, just cover everything up. That's not what you want. You want to go slow, watch how the paint spreads again. You don't need to cover everything perfectly. And I think that's really important. Like, don't worry about covering everything perfectly. This time it's going to be more like a creamier paint, more blues. So something that feels like half and half like ratio. So the ratio between water and paint. And this time I'm going to go through this zone here where I applied the yellows. And then you can see how the shade changed, right? So as long as I don't mess with it too much, I will be okay. And then with the tip of my brush, just gonna go through, but not all the way to the end because I do want to show there's yellow. Now I just went through a little bit outside because I want to show that glow on the bottom. Cobalt blue and some quin red again. Make sure you don't have too much water. So again, you're decreasing now the amount of water on your brush with that paint. And a little more of the, this is quinacridone red, a little more. And I want some phthalo blue on this side, more of it. I didn't clean my brush, I just grabbed phthalo blue. And just like we see in the reference, just moving around. I wipe my brush on a towel just so it feels a little more damp. So it's still a brush like with the paint, I wiped it so I have a little more control now. And then just pulling the paint, moving it around with that somewhat damp brush. Making sure I filled in like all the little tiny spots because this is a textured paper. So we will see some texture. I actually need to squeeze more cobalt blue. This is heavy cream-like ratio between water and paint. And I'm just going back to some of these areas around like this little flower part just to add more color. And then here too. But this is heavier ratio. So I feel like this is more like a heavy cream-like ratio between water and paint. And then again, going through, wipe your brush on a towel so it feels more damp so you have more control. Now I do need to go on the inside here. There's no need to like stay away from it. A little more of the red. So this is the quinacridone red, cobalt blue. And I'm actually marking it for myself. Like, okay, this is the area that's going to be darker, number one, but I also need some color in there. And then I'm going to grab some indigo too. But the most important, you can see that yellowish glow in there. And that really is important. A darker shade of it, maybe on this side. Going for these mid-tones now. And of course, if you don't feel comfortable with something like this, you use a different brush, that's totally okay. But try to have a softer brush. Stiffer brush is fine, as long as it's not like stiff. You just want like medium stiff, basically. Now what I'm gonna do, let's go closer here, but I need something darker. So before I do that, I'm just gonna release some more of this paint from my brush. So what I'm gonna do, I don't necessarily have to go for the indigo yet. I'm gonna grab some of this yellow, some of the red, creamy paint, and then the phthalo blue. And that's all I really need. And I don't have to go like for indigo again, because I can create my own sheet that's as dark as you see in the reference, just because I added yellow to that blend of phthalo blue and quinacridone red. And then whatever I see the darkest spots now, that's where I'm going to add it. But very gradually, slowly. It's very easy to get too dark and you don't want to do that. And especially here, like you need that heavy cream to even cream top, just so you control it so too much, so the paint doesn't flow all the way to the edge, because that's where you have some of that yellow for the shadow and for the glow mostly, I'd say, because that looks really pretty, that glow. And then some lines, of course. It's like I'm using the tip of my brush and I'm just moving around. Like I'm gonna start going toward this middle section here, or not middle, but the flowery section, just because things are settling, like the paper starts to feel more damp, and I have way more control at this point, more control. I'm gonna wipe the brush. I guess I still had too much on one side. That's okay. I'm gonna leave it. Doesn't have to be exactly the same as we see in the reference. And then go for this. Now I'm gonna grab a little more, but maybe the phthalo blue. Maybe too much phthalo blue, but we'll see how it dries. And then one more time, going through. I will lift a little bit, just FYI. And then let's see, all the way to this line. Now you got to make sure you have a nice fine point. This. And then we got to take care of that middle section in a second. So I don't have to do everything with just this brush. Although like it's easy to get comfy and it's like, okay, I can probably do it all, but it's okay like to change the brush too. So I'm gonna go for a smaller brush. What I'm gonna grab is my round 2, if I can find it. There you go. Round 2 Songbird Details. What I want is actually a little bit of burnt sienna. Now, because it's been a while since I've been painting, I need to grab like a creamy paint. Something between heavy cream and cream top. Otherwise, the thing will spread too much, the paint. And I'm just using this creamier version of the burnt sienna. And I feel like I could add it in other places, like maybe here, just to add like a little more color to it. That's all. And then on top of that, I'm gonna grab a little bit of red just to add it here. I kind of like that red. And you know what? I should have added a little more here. I do like that red. It looks so pinkish and pretty. Oops. That was just on the edge of it. Well, I don't need that. I feel like I picked up actually Oprah. So what I'm gonna do is grab the same 3 colors. So phthalo blue, quinacridone red, and imidazolone yellow. So instead of just going for that indigo, we're creating our own shade of that, kind of like an indigo, but it's a mix of the primary colors together. And we're just going to apply it toward the darkest areas that we see in cream top-like ratio. Something that feels creamy. So I just need to create more of that blend. Tiny. Sometimes the cream top feels too thick. So that's when you want to add a little more water. And like if something doesn't feel right to you, like then you just trust your own instincts too. If you want to like add, I don't know, shadow somewhere else, or you want to have more highlights, let's say, right? Now I gotta quickly hurry up because there's a lot of these lines, scratches, and if I want to add it like now, like so it's all wet on wet, then I gotta just do it now basically before it dries. So I'm grabbing more of it. And just like we see in the reference, it's all like darker, kind of scratched up. And this is, I'm doing it with the brush that feels damp, and it's like a creamy paint. Right here, and then just tiny little dots like we see here and there. The last step is basically lifting, if we have to lift, because not always you have to lift colors. Grab a little more color here. And this is cream top. Be careful with the cream top because sometimes like it just doesn't look clean anymore, like the cream top. If it's too heavy, you want to make sure your paper still feels damp. Flower, but I need a little more paint. And with the tip of my brush, adding it, but you know I do need to for sure lift colors. Other than that, I got the values. And then maybe a little more here and there. All right, I'm gonna clean the brush. And with that damp brush, I'm gonna lift a little bit. So like for example, there's like a little tiny spot that it's not gonna look as good because it's too light this area. So I have to kind of go other place to lift, but maybe here. The best timing to lift colors is when the paper starts to feel damp. I want a little more blue just here because this kind of will give it more of a 3D, because we have this opening, but it has like shadows and okay. I'm then cleaning my brush. So lifting again is when the paper starts to feel damp. So at first you see all, like the paper is still shiny wet. Once that shine starts to go away, that's kind of like gives you a clue, okay, I need to get ready to start lifting, or I need to lift already. Depending on like how many spots you're going to lift, how much time you need for lifting. So I'm probably going to come back here to make it a little darker, the middle section. If for some reason this became too dark, then you go with the damp brush and lift gently. But wipe your brush on a towel and then you can lift again if that happened, okay? Otherwise, if you don't need to lift, you don't need to lift. And then here, I feel like these actually would be good for masking those little tiny highlights. Go one more time. I feel like this is already drying, but I can still lift a little bit. More here. More here. All right, my friends, whether you like this version or this version, well, let me know. But the class is finished. We painted these blueberries together. Please keep in mind that you can, of course, change things up however you wish. You can add even more blueberries if you want to. But thank you so much for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions.